and having a toolbar icon. You didn't ask for that thing.
Exactly.
You didn't double click anything, but it's running. Same kind of thing in Linux. Now I'll say certain distros turn on things automatically. Certain distros don't. Like Arch, you can install anything you want. It's not going to automatically start up the next time you boot your computer. Ubuntu does. Right. If you install a FTP server, next time you reboot, it's going to start that server up. Just like going through msconfig, cleaning up stuff, same kind of thing. There are places you can go to quickly look and find out what is starting up at boot. Useless software, we do this in Windows all the time, Steve. You know, you walk up to someone's computer and you notice they have Microsoft Office installed, LibreOffice installed, and OpenOffice installed. Chances are 2 of them are completely useless. You know,
right?
So you get rid of them. And I mean, the same thing on Linux. You really shouldn't keep a lot of junk around that you don't really intend on using.
Sure.
You know, it's just not good. And number 3, switch to lighter programs and window manager. On Windows, this really isn't as clear. Okay. The only way I can really come close to explaining this, it's like getting rid of Microsoft Outlook and going to Thunderbird.
I see.
You're not really going from one to the other because it's amazingly different or amazingly better.
It's just lighter.
It's just uncommonly lighter, and it does everything you need to do, kind of thing.
Right.
Like in the Windows world, I used WordPad for a lot of my official like document creation. I didn't use Microsoft Word. WordPad was a lot lighter, and you could save stuff in RTF, the rich file document. So I use that. Same kind of thing in Linux. The difference is your whole desktop, you can switch to a lighter one.
Neat.
So quite literally, you could have a brand new computer, install then Linux. 4 years later, you can keep that same install and just install a different desktop for a lighter, quicker computer because it's getting long in the tooth.
I see.
Yeah. So I thought this was a pretty good one.
They give an example of Awesome Desktop and KDE. Which one are they saying is faster here?
Awesome is insanely fast.
Okay.
Because there's no frills, no bells, no whistles, no gloss, no curves, no nothing.
Sounds awesome.
It's just desktop.
Huh.
You know, I personally like Awesome Desktop, but I'm biased.
Okay.
Okay, next one we're going to talk real quick is this is just a super quickie. If you want to learn graphics editing, okay, and you don't have a budget and you don't like pirating software, okay, you really should look at the GIMP. They're not the same. It isn't like GIMP and Photoshop are opposite sides of the same thing. They're not. They definitely have beliefs in doing things differently in both of them. So if you know one, you don't necessarily know the other. You might be able to still work around the other one, but it will take a little bit of work. I say if you're not already vested in Photoshop, try GIMP. See how you like it. Plenty of online tutorials like out the wazoo for GIMP, and over at O-Static. I'm calling it O-Static.
That's it.
I guess.
You're right.
They have free tools for getting started with the mighty GIMP graphics editor. There's a couple things. There's a couple links in the post. The post itself is good, but it has direct links to tutorials grokking the GIMP, which just means comprehending the GIMP. And then there's a link to the GIMP plugin registry. There are literally thousands of these plugins you can download to automate or semi-automate repetitive tasks in the GIMP. These plugins are in plain text, which means if someone does a plugin that does the first half of what you need, but then does the second half wrong, you technically can go in with a text editor and change how this plugin works. going to have to put your geek hat on, but it's possible. And I just want to really encourage people once in a while, don't forget about the GIMP. Don't sell it short. Don't think, well, it isn't Photoshop. You're right. It's not. It ain't supposed to be. It's the GIMP, which I really wish they would rename the app, but that's a different story.
It makes it seem like it's in not as good in some way.
Like it's gimpy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Next is another quickie. BSD is, I mean, if you look up in the dictionary, I know. BSD, okay, if you look up BSD in Door-to-Door Geeks Dictionary, you're going to get Ultra Hardened Network Operating System. Nothing I've ever seen, witnessed, heard of, talked about, seen, whatever, works better as a network appliance or a network tool than BSD. It's very hardened. It's very solid. It's not hackable. It's not crackable. It's very secure. And it's really focused towards the network. Here's the perfect example of me. You can't get flash on BSD.
Okay.
If you're running a server and you need to put flash on that server, you have to ask yourself, why are you putting flash on that server? You're not supposed to put flash on a server. This is a server. So there's no flash for it. Okay. And that's perfectly fine in my eyes. This is a link on How to Forge, and it's how to use pfSense to load balance your web servers.
Now, what's pfSense for anyone who doesn't know?
pfSense is the server multi-billion-dollar companies with tens of thousands of people working for them use as their network gateway and their firewall. This is the most flexible and powerful network firewall router gateway there is.
Okay.
You can get other things like Staro and all these other things that can do these kind of things. But I'm willing to bet everybody's needs out there and everybody's small business out there and medium business out there, this fits the bill perfectly.
Okay.
Really customizable, really tweakable. Quite literally for pfSense, all you need is 256 megs of RAM. No, I'm sorry. 124 megabits of RAM, 100 megahertz processor. That should tell you guys something.
Serious?
It is insanely low. Me and Tracy, I believe, went over this like 2 weeks ago, and I was like, no, you can't be right, Tracy.
That's insane.
And I went and I looked at it. Oh, what do you know?
Pentium
Tracy's
1 speeds.
Yeah, it's actually quite ridiculous. Yeah, minimum requirements here. pfSense, CPU, 100 megahertz Pentium RAM, 128 megabytes of RAM.
That's very great.
My GUI text editor can't run on that. And here you have something powerful enough to be a tool to load balance web servers.
It's so awesome.
Yeah. This is completely niche. I don't expect anyone listening to this podcast to do this, but I wanted to let you guys know what is possible. pfSense is a very adequate load balancing tool. There are plenty of other BSD distros that people say does better. You know how I feel about better, Steve. It's not the best. So I really highly encourage people to read up on this, not to do it, but to see it is within your grasp. It is not hard, and you'll notice there's not a lot of command lines in this one, like none.
Really? It's all GUI?
Yeah, it's all GUI because pfSense has a web interface. It runs as a headless computer. You install on a computer, you put it in a closet, you detach the monitor, keyboard, mouse, and you just let it run.
Sweet.
Then you know, okay, that is my IP address, 192.168.1.1. I go to any other computer on that network, open the browser, 192.168.1.1, and there is your interface to admin it.
Sweet.
Yeah, very cool. One of the better web interfaces, I'll say, period.
It's good to know.
Absolutely. Okay, next one is a two-parter, really. First one is a game called Steel Storm. Sorry.
You're gonna skip our door?
I skipped our door. I skipped our door. I didn't mean to skip our door. We're going back to our door. Hey, Steve, have you heard of our door?
I don't love our door, but our door is neat. It's really cool.
Well, I think you just very silently gelled perfectly with the attitude of this article. Okay? Because all door, many people who know will say, dude, that our door, man, that is a really good tool. And then someone says, well, do you use it? No. Do you understand how to use it? No. It's not the most intuitive audio editing interface. This is a DAW.
Digital audio workstation.
Yeah.
Well, that's, you know what? Comparatively, I mean, it's on the level of Pro Tools and other Logic and other rigs like that. So it's not meant for beginner. So you can't expect to just jump into this thing. It's like jumping into Pro Tools. The cool thing about it is, you know, finally we have these types of tools on Linux that pro musicians can use with all the plugins and whatnot. So I think it's really neat. You know, my biggest back off from using Ardour right now is probably trying to figure out jack. And once I muster up the idea to start this whole project, I'll probably hook up with Berteo and ask him, how do you set all this up? Because it seems tough to get jack and Ardour and all your interfaces all gelled when sometimes it's just easier Ardour on a Mac or PC to plug it in, download the drivers, and it works. But that's the cool thing about Ardour is it's pro level. I think it's really cool.
Right. I'll say again, sometimes it's perfectly fine to open up a hungry man dinner, put it in the microwave, and hit 4 minutes.
Yes.
You know, not everybody needs the level of control jack gives. But to take full advantage of Ardour, you have to have jack.
Right.
That much I know. And I will say, it's one of those things. It is so powerful and it is free. I truly believe a lot of people out there have the mindset, well, I can use this. This is Pro Tools. This costs, I don't know, $2,000?
It depends what rig you get. It's all different levels.
Well, we're going to say $2,000 because I would love that $2,000. And then you have this product over here, Ardour. It's free. Well, this Pro Tools must be better. It costs $2,000. You know, if this one was any good, they would sell it. And that's the mindset, I think, of a lot of people.
Right.
That's why I don't think Ardour gets a fair shake among certain professionals, and because they learned on Pro Tools.
I honestly, I really think the reason Ardour is not gaining as much traction is because these people need their audio interfaces to work seamlessly with the software. And I think a lot of them don't want to figure out jack or sit down and put the time into it. They want something that's just going to, oh, driver loaded, bang. So I don't think it's as much the interface as the software interface as much as how it's going to interface with their hardware. That just has to work every time for a musician. He doesn't want to deal with that crap.
Right. Well, I'll say bridging the gap, I think Linux is a lot closer than a lot of people think to bridging that gap of making it work. But that last bit that isn't, if you try to step over it, you might fall.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I do think it is big enough to be a hurdle, a big hurdle, because it's really a matter of, to me, comprehension. You know, these are the systems that no one's had to deal with on Windows or Mac because they just worked in the background.
Right.
Now you are told you have to do this, and it's all brand new. I will say Linux home recording blog on Blogspot is a resource that I think people need to go check out. It is definitely cool. He does a really good job of, to me, saying stuff in plain English, and that's what I really like, and it seems like I can never find.
Yeah, I think it's a fantastic blog. I think he did a really good job of laying out all that, and I haven't seen anything like that on the net. I've visited the blog, and it's really cool. It's one of those things, if I have like a vacation or a weekend, I want to sit down and learn it and then have the knowledge, I would go there first. It's all there. Right. But I haven't yet. That's the only thing. I just haven't yet. That's all.
Right. Well, here's the tip. If you do and you get it working, image the computer. Right then and there, image the flipping computer.
Nice.
Because, you know, you don't want it to break.
Yes.
Okay. Next